right, well, my name is Dan Fleshman, Magic Dan, and it's kind of what I go by at the Chop House Restaurant. I work out in Vail and Beaver Creek, Colorado during the summer and also in the ski season with a fellow friend and magician, Danny Archer. And this effect, Jiggernaut, has become one of my trademark effects. It's a very strong routine. There's a lot of magic going on in a very short period of time. And it's got a wow factor at the end with the lime. And I'll get to all that in a little bit. The routine is by Mark Jenst originally. I mean, I know there's other variations of this routine out there, but the first time I'd seen it done was on Mark's DVD. It's sold by Chris Smith of Magic Smith out of Las Vegas, Nevada. It's a wonderful routine, and it's in its own. The effect comes with, it doesn't come with a lime, obviously, because that wouldn't taste very good and it wouldn't show up very well. It comes with the jigger, it comes with 2 olives, and it comes with 2 corks, not necessarily like this. These are corks I've gotten out of a restaurant. Any of your fine dining establishments will have corks that they'll be glad to give you if you just ask. I like to use a champagne cork because it's a little different shaped than a regular cork. I used to do this routine years ago, and for some reason, I don't know why, I just quit doing it. Like a lot of effects that we do, we see which works, which doesn't, and I set it aside. And then probably, I don't know, 7 years ago or so, 6 years ago, I saw Tom Burgoon at Tommy's restaurant in Kansas City, and he did Jiggernaut. I thought, why did I ever quit doing this trick? I mean, it's such a commercial effect. And he didn't close with the lime, but he did end with the 2 corks. And that was the conclusion of the routine. And that's how I started doing it. So let me show you what the setup is. The lime goes into my pants pocket, my right hand pants pocket. The olives and the corks. Now, typically, I try to find a jacket that has inside pockets on the inside pocket. This one doesn't, so it's not a big deal. But usually if they do, the 2 olives would go in one of the smaller pockets inside my pocket. In this case, they're just resting loosely. The corks go in as well. The jigger, I go over here with the jacket that has the pocket here, the large mouth side up. So the reason I'm doing this DVD, and my buddy Jim Holmes is actually videoing this. Thank you, Jim, very much for doing this. The reason I'm selling this is that when I've been lecturing, a lot of magicians asked if my routine was included with the Jiggernaut, and it wasn't at the time. And so what I'm doing is to include this routine as a bonus and along with Jiggernaut, or you can buy it separately as well. And so to start out with, I mean, when I'm at the restaurant, I do a lot of hi, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. Just to get going, I think it's important to establish some kind of a rapport with the audience for at least myself before I go in right straight into the magic. That's just the way I've worked. It's become a comfortable way for me to approach a table. So this way it's a casual thing. I get to know them a little bit, find out where they're from, a little small talk, and also it'll give me a little bearing on their, even though they're on vacation, you'd be surprised at how many people really don't want to see a magician while they're on vacation, my wife included. Don't tell her I said that. Anyway, so the routine is I start out a little something, uses one of these, and I also use an olive. Now what I'm doing is I'm going into my pockets looking for the olives. Of course I know where they're at, but the audience doesn't know that. And first of all, when I say and I also use an olive, the looks you'll get on people's faces is like, he keeps olives, and you can see they're thinking, he keeps olives in his pocket? Oh, that's gross. And I've had people actually say that, oh my God, these are nasty. I said, oh, don't worry, it's not a real olive. And as I do that, my right hand right now has both olives in its hand, and I take out, I say, it's a rubber olive. But it looks pretty good for a rubber olive. So what I have is I have 1 olive here and 1 olive in the finger palm position in my right hand. So to start out, I say it's a pretty simple effect. Now the reason I drop this in the top is because later I'm going to do a callback where the olive is produced out of the jigger the same way. So I say the olive's either going to go underneath the jigger, that's one spot. As I pick this up, I'm going to just set this into my hand. I got to tell you, this is probably the easiest of like a chop cup type routine you'll ever do in your life. There's no magnets in the olives. There's no magnets at all using this routine. It's just simple sleight of hand. So when I load this, all you're doing is letting the hand tilt. As you do this, the olive rolls right into the jigger. I mean, how much easier can this be? This goes down, so it's either gonna go under the jigger, so let's try that again. The olive's either gonna go under the jigger, here's your first load, in my hand, or in my pocket. So I usually go into my pants pocket, but I have this thing here. Fair enough? And they'll say yes. Well, let's begin. So there's your first production. It throws people off because they're not expecting this. So now at this point, again, I'm going to load the olive back into here. As I pick this up, I come back. Now I do a false transfer, watch. So it's just a simple here and here. The olive goes into my pocket, little snap, it goes back under the jigger. Now at this point, I'm going to do the load this time, but as I pick this up and bring this upward, I'm loading the olive into the jigger, but this time I turn it upward like so. Now what's going to happen is they're conditioned to think that the olive's going to be underneath, but it's going to be back in the top. This really is very strong. This came up towards the end of the ski season. You're going to see a performance that goes along with this at a lecture I did in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And thanks to the guys there for having a fine group of magicians and enjoying that as well. But you're going to see a different performance of this routine from the lecture. And it's what's great about what we do is in performing, things, for me at least, are always changing. I ad-lib a lot. So a lot of what I do comes in, not by mistake, but it's like, maybe this will work. And so working 6 nights a week, 3 hours a night in a restaurant, I get to play around with a lot of different ideas. So anyway, we're at this point here. So I load in, and I do that. Now, I will only do this. This olive sits way deep in the recess of this jigger. If I have kids at the table that at the beginning are looking into the jigger to see if there's anything in there, I won't do this part simply because I don't want them to see the olive in the jigger. If they're not, this is perfect. So I do again the false transfer back into my pocket, give it a little snap, it goes back, and I about say under, and sometimes I do, and then it's back on top. This is really a strong moment in the routine because they're looking for something totally different. Now at this point, I'm going to load up the small part of the jigger with this olive here. And I'm going to do the old drop through. This is very strong. So as it's here, as I say, would you mind cupping your hands together? Now, when I'm doing this for kids, I'll say, can you see the trap door? And I tell them this is how it works. There's a trap door in this thing. And they'll say, if they say yes, I'll say, oh, really? Can you hear the ocean? And this always gets a laugh from the parents. And you'll be surprised at how many kids will do this. They'll bring their ear and they see if they can hear the ocean. And if they fall for the ocean bit, I'll say, here, pull my finger. 99% of the kids reach for the finger. Of course, I don't let them pull it because the parents are like screaming, don't pull his finger. So they cup their hands together, and when you drop this olive in, it's just a timing thing. You just let the other one fall out. So let's do it again. As simple as this is, drop the olive in and it goes through the trap door. Now at this point, I'm going to tip the jigger this way, and as I do, I drop the olive into this hand. As just a simple byplay is when I do this, I just set this onto the table. So this is here, and I just do the simple steal. And nobody ever sees this. This next part came again after, it was not towards the end, but probably the middle of the ski season. I do this bit where I pretend to steal this olive. And it really looks, like a retention vision. But it really looks like I've taken the olive from under the jigger, but it's still there. So, and I play this up really big as though I'm really going to steal the olive. So at this point, you're going to get one of two answers, maybe three. But I'll say, where's the olive? And I say it in such a way to where it's sarcastic. I say, where's the olive now? And it almost leads them to say the hand. If they say it's under the jigger, I say, you're right, it's under the jigger. You got me that time. However, this is so strong. The other olive's in my left hand. Where's the olive now? And when I do this and they say your hand, I say, you're right, this one over here. When you open this hand and show the olive and then do this, it literally blows them away because they're not expecting this. So 2 pieces of magic happened here. You take a false take. Where's the olive now? They think it's in your hand. And you say, you're right, it's in this one over here. It's almost like it just goes from here to here. I mean, it's like magic. Then I open it up, I say, so watch, I'll do it. And we call that a setup. I have you think it's in this hand, and I'm looking at this hand. I want the audience to believe that this olive's in this hand, and they should. So I say, I have you think it's in this hand, but it's really in this hand over here. And that's just a throw off. It doesn't show them what happens. It's just a simple, casual, it's the opposite of what just happened, where's the olive now? So it's just the opposite from this hand to this hand. Now as I go into the pocket, now here's what I was doing earlier. I said, and I also use an olive. I was going to my pockets for a reason, because now I'm going to be going to my pockets a lot. That first part of bringing the olives out initially was to condition them. So as I go in to place the olive away, I take the small cork and I palm that here. Now what's nice about this cork is small enough and it's almost flesh colored that I can point to this with my thumb on top and they won't see the cork. So it's a nice casual way of saying, where's the olive now, pocket or jigger? Though if they say pocket or jigger, it's irrelevant. It's in your pocket. No, it's under the jigger. But I have one in my pocket. It's under the jigger, you're right, but I have one in my pocket. And at this point, I load the cork. So it's just a simple here. You can't miss. It's a pretty big recess to go into. Now as I bring this up, everything you notice is just played right. As I set the cork down and the jigger down, the olive comes up to bring their eyes up to this point. So there's the first load. Now I place this back inside, and at this point I'll say, oh, I'm using 6 olives. And it's just as a joke. And people are always, oh, I knew he was using more than one. Magicians might say, oh, you're giving it away, you're telling them you're using more than one olive. It's the psychology that goes along with this, because I want them to have fun. And when I say I'm using 6 olives, not 2, I say, I'm using 6 olives. And they're like, wow, you know. So I place this back, because it seems like you have at least 6. I place this back into my pocket. Now as I point here, I steal the next cork, which is the champagne cork. So it's here. So where's the olive now? It's under the jigger. You're right. No, it's in my pocket. Now as I load this, again, this cork comes right here as I load it into the jigger. As I bring this one up again out of range, I've loaded the second cork here. I say, the part that always gets me though is how this one's able to squeeze in there. And that was the end of the routine. But invariably, people would always lift this to see if there was something else underneath, and there wasn't. At the beginning, I loaded a third cork. That was like producing too many doves in a dove act. The third cork was complete overkill. So at this point, and I say, and I relax, and my hand goes to my pocket here. As I'm doing that, I'm obviously getting the lime. I say, but I can't figure out how that one squeezes in there. And I say the word squeeze because squeeze like fruit. And then I do this, and as I come down, the lime is here. Now as I come down, I'm going to do this 2 different ways. And as I look underneath, I pause and I say, wouldn't that be cool? And they relax because it's an offbeat. Wouldn't that be cool? And now they relax, and as I do, I just place this on top of the lime and give it a shake, and then place this on top. I've got to tell you, when that lime is produced from under this jigger, the reaction you get is of total shock, because they were not anticipating this at all. So from the side angle, what you have is this here. It's just like this. This just goes on top. Pretty easy way of loading here, and you've got all the cover in your hand. I used to use a lemon, but limes are darker and lemons are bigger than limes. So I used a fairly good sized lime. So when I come here, I just have the hand out, and as I shake, it's just here like that. So when I'm doing this, if I have people to my left, they're not going to see it. I just turn my hand a little more as I shake. So you've got the angle better here. 1, 2, shake, pause, and it's there. And this is a nice little setup. When I'm working in the restaurant, I use a small mat about the size of the red mat. It's a little stage. And people will ask me, what's that? I say, it's my stage. So to me, because every table is a stage, you might do the exact same performance at every table you're working at that night, the exact same routine, but you're going to get a totally different response from each audience. This is a strong routine. I love this production at the end. And there's so many other things you can do with this. So at the end, this is here, I say, cheers. These go back into my pocket. Everything goes back to where it came from. So let me just touch on something real quick. I've done this a few times. Build a lime. There's a routine called limey, where there's a bill that ends up in the lime at the end of the routine. So your setup would be you would load. I do the corner torn on a 20, and then I do the corner switch at the end with their bill that they loan me. So they end up with the corner of the 20 that's in the bill. So what I do is when I do the production of the lime, and this is close to the first, probably the second or third routine I do at the table, the lime's on the table the entire time. And so after you've borrowed their 20 and at the end of your routine, at the end of your set, a few effects down the road, but this lime's sitting there the entire time. When you cut the lime open and their 20's inside that lime, it totally blows them away. I don't use it that often in restaurants simply because those of you who work restaurants know that timing is of utter importance. Total dependence upon timing. You get interrupted a lot in a restaurant, you do a short set, whatever the case may be. That routine with the production of a bill is perfect for, let's say, a cocktail party where you're doing maybe a 10-minute set where you can do that. Or, you know, private party at someone's home, a corporate event. So you pick your events accordingly for this with the bill and the lime, but it's a very strong effect. It's a very strong routine. I think I covered just about everything that I think that this routine lends itself to. And thanks again to Tom Burgoon for reminding me how strong Jiggernaut is. And again to Jim Holmes for videoing this. Thanks, I hope you enjoyed it. So my name is Dan. You are?
Jeannie.
Hi, Jeannie. Nice to meet you. Welcome to Teacher's Billiards. Cool place. I love this joint. Call it a joint, you know?
It's a joint.
Yeah, great. So you like magic?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you going to be disappointed?
No.
I'll tell you, I always like to start with a little something that uses one of these. And I also use an olive. It's not a real olive. Oh, here it is. But it looks pretty good for a rubber olive.
It does.
Now the game is pretty simple. The olive's either going to go under the jigger. That's one spot. All right, my hand, where I'm going to place the olive into my pocket.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Okay.
All right, let's begin. Cool. I'll do it again. I'll place the olive back into my pocket, give it a little snap, it goes back under the jigger. Once again, a tad bit slower. Watch closely. Pocket, and, oh, sorry, it's back where it started, jigger. Now I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I use a trap door. Can you see the trap door?
Nope.
That's good. Would you cup your hands together for me, please? Now watch when I drop the olive in, it goes right through the trap door. If you would, set the olive right here. Now watch closely. Where's the olive now?
In your hand.
You're right, this one over here.
No.
Now we call that a setup. I have you think it's here, but I really do keep it there. Watch closely. Would you say the olive's in my pocket or under the jigger? What do you think, pocket or jigger?
Jigger.
That is correct. Very good. I'm using 6 olives. I'll do it again. Watch closely. I'll place the olive back into my pocket. Where do you think it is now? Pocket or jigger?
Pocket.
You're right. That's a cork. Now, the part I can never quite get, though, is how that one squeezes in there, Jeannie. That'd have been cool, huh? Sometimes this gets stuck, and I can never figure that out. Cheers.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty cool when it works, right?
Yeah.
Thanks.